Gangbanging, like in Washington D.C. I don't know how it is today in 2026, but they didn't have Bloods and Crips in D.C. for a long time, but they still had their version of gangs. Now the city's gentrified.
I was gonna say because my people was selling water, sherm out there, and they was claiming gangs out there when they was selling.
Yeah.
He was saying he was getting to with people out there. They was claiming gangs and stuff out there, grape streets and all type of stuff was out there.
There's a well-known dude in the feds, I think, got a life sentence for selling dope out of D.C.
Wayne Perry?
No, Wayne Perry was he was a hitman for Alpo that went down to yeah, that was in D.C. too. But no, I'm thinking of another dude that had they believed he was a homosexual too. Who's the big time drug dealer from D.C.? Oh, Rayful Edmonds.
For decades now, Edmond ran a notorious drug ring in the nation's capital. And when he finally went to prison, he left behind a trail of carnage. Now, here's the surprise, federal government is asking the court to reconsider his 2 life sentences. And according to our reporting, prosecutors have made it clear in sealed documents they want to see Rayful Edmond set free, resentenced to time served.
Oh, that's my he was he was DC, Chocolate City. Right, that is right.
Rayful Edmonds.
Edmonds, right.
And he had a lot of L.A. ties too.
Right, no, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
he was bringing a lot of dope in from L.A.
For sure.
And I think he got a life sentence.
Yeah, I believe so too.
Following his conviction as a drug kingpin, Edmond was sentenced to 2 life terms without the possibility of parole. But within just days of his arrival, he was back in business. He was dealing drugs right from his prison cell.
And they had a reputation in D.C. that a lot of the thugs, a lot of the gangsters was gay.
Just about everybody inside the jail in some way, shape, form, or fashion is dealing in drugs, either directly or indirectly.
He was caught and 2 years ago struck a deal with the feds. Ever since, he's been telling them exactly how he pulled it off. Tell me what drugs you dealt with in prison. Cocaine?
Cocaine,
Crack?
crack,
Heroin? What else?
marijuana. Those were the basic 4: cocaine, crack, and heroin, and marijuana.
There's nothing left. You did the gamut.
Yeah, I did it all.
That's listen. My people was in the feds. They'll tell you them. They call you Bay, like they just
And it was more accepted.
It's still accepted. They say my people saying that they walking around the feds right now, brother, and doing all type, and they be full of regular, like they're gay, and they knock you out, beat you up, and punch you out, stab you up, all that.
And they with the bullshit too.
And they with the exactly.
See, last time I spoke on this, you know what I'm saying, act like I had some knowledge of it, man. That they told me up in my DM, so I'm just gonna stand down, bro.
No, I had so my people's in the feds right now with them. And my mama like, and nigga, he tell you they just different. They different, bro. They sit on each other's laps and all type of stuff. They different, bro. And they with that thing.
There was a lot of status to being a big-time drug dealer.
Yes.
You were able to what?
I mean, you was able to gang material things, women, clothes, dressing, things of that nature.
Paul Weinstock started selling drugs at age 16. Like his friend Rayful Edmond, he got busted. Eventually, he spent 23 years in prison. You grew up with Rayful Edmond and his lieutenant, Tony Lewis, right?
Yeah, we were good friends. We grew up, not in the same neighborhood, but in this area,
The center of the Edmond enterprise was the family home. It was located at 4th and M Streets Northeast. The distribution drug centers were the nearby streets of Northeast. Hanover Place, Florida Avenue, Orleans Place, and all of the Trinidad neighborhood operated as open-air drug markets.
crack was at a very high demand at the time. Matter of fact, me and Rayful, we played basketball against one another at one time.
They not going for nothing, and they run the feds because D.C. itself is all federal.
Right.
You catch a case in D.C., period, you're going to feds.
So they got the biggest car in the feds.
Period.
Yeah, because all their cases go fed.
Feds. No, and whatever you do.
Yeah.
Jaywalk feds.
They got no prison system.
No prison system, all federal.
They need to change that.
They're not in a state.
They're not a state. They're
because they right up the street from the White House.
They're a district.
I mean, Virginia don't want to take them, and Maryland don't want to take them.
Exactly. It's a
So
district.
they should have figured that out, like for legal purposes. Let the Virginia courts handle D.C. cases, or let Maryland courts handle D.C. cases.
That'd been smart, but they don't care.
They just go fed.
Yeah, and they all feds. They run the feds.
Yeah, they run the feds.
Run the feds.
So they could do whatever.
They do whatever. Bay.
But I don't really hear a lot of D.C. dudes in the Fed prisons here on the West Coast, like in Victorville or Terminal Island. They must be on that side of the
Not
country.
even that, because them baby, you talking about the little ones. You talking about like the lower level. We talking about the USPs and all that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Victorville,
Yeah,
USP.
Oh, yeah, it is, but Victor is USP.
You talking about like Beaumont?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like with them sick names. Like Victorville has been always straight. You know, it's been straight. It's USP, but it's cool.
I was gonna look up Rayful Edmond to see how much time that they gave him, and I didn't even know this, that he died in 2024.
Say that. Yeah, they say.
Security.
Specifically, how did you do it?
For safety, we would use the visiting room, the telephones.
Specifically, these telephones, conveniently located just down the hall from his cell. Edmond would contact Chicky simply by placing a collect call to a friend in Washington. Every one of those calls was recorded.
Hello, this is the AT&T operator with a collect call. Who's calling, please?
Right.
Will you accept the charge? Uh-huh.
The friend, in turn, connected him to Chicky all the way down in Medellin.
What reason will I be calling out the country? I'm not from Colombia or South
Yeah.
America.
He died last year. That's 2 years ago now.
At what age?
60.
Yeah, I'm just.
It's been about 24 hours now since we learned a significant figure in modern D.C. history died.
Yeah, but he wasn't a politician and he wasn't a sports star. Rayful Edmond was a notorious drug kingpin.
He thrived during the crack cocaine epidemic of the 1980s, which spiked the city's murder rate so high, D.C. became known as the murder capital of the nation. Edmond spent 35 years in prison. He was released 4 months ago to a halfway house in Miami.
Yeah.
I thought, I would say last year.
I'm assuming he must have died in prison.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see here.
Of course.
Yeah, they never let him out.
No compassionate release.
Hell no.
It says here on July 31st, 2004, Edmond was transferred from prison to a halfway house at an undisclosed location in Kentucky or Tennessee, because they still don't know, under the supervision of the BOP, Nashville Residential Reentry Management. He died at a halfway house in Miami on December 17th. So they must have gave him a passionate release to the halfway house in July, and he died in December from a heart attack at 60. But dang, he died of a heart attack.
Or they just released him.
They probably already knew he had a bad heart.
Maybe they did release him. I don't
They
know.
released him and then he just died after he got released. I was so excited.
He died in a halfway house in Miami, but usually when you get a compassionate release, you're dying from a debilitating disease that's slowly killing you. Heart attack is a spontaneous death.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know. It doesn't say anything here about compassionate release, but he only was in the halfway house for less than 6 months.
The release from prison came as a bit of a surprise. Edmond is now out in part because in the 90s, he cooperated with the government after the FBI learned he was making large drug deals with the Colombia cartel from his federal prison cell in Pennsylvania. In 1994, he flipped and became a snitch. Court records show for the next 20 years, Edmond provided information to the feds that led to the convictions of at least 100 people. Here in D.C. during the late 80s, he ran his cocaine operation from a house in Northeast where a young police recruit successfully infiltrated the gang. In 2019, News 4's Jackie Benson spoke with the undercover officer, now retired.
I was in there for like 3 days and got asked, did I want to do undercover work?
The undercover was known to the gang as Jimmy, who remembers cocaine shipments being delivered by the truckload.
And a guy sitting on the back with a Uzi, with 2 Uzis.
At one point, Edmond became close with some of Georgetown University's top basketball players, and Coach John Thompson met with Edmond and asked him to leave his players alone.
Rayful respected that because Rayful was a big basketball fan.
The crack epidemic had the district in a vice grip for years, with countless murders linked to it.
Nah, he knew he was about to get up out of here.
He was in the halfway house for 5.5 months.
That ain't even long. Ain't even 180 days.
I think a heart attack is like that's just sudden. Ain't like they used to have a heart attack in about 5 months. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's some sudden shit.
In 2019, he went to court to get his life sentence reduced.
Okay.
Let's see. It says here, Rayful Edmonds returned to D.C. for hearings on whether his life sentence should be reduced to time served based on information he provided to authorities concerning 20 homicides.
Oh, he just told everybody.
Man.
Why did you decide to cooperate?
Because I wanted to put it all behind me. I wanted to help my family. First of all, that was the first thing that gave me the motivation. My mom, my aunt, and my 3 sisters.
His mom, his sisters, brothers-in-law, and others were all in the family business with Edmond and are all serving time. His mother and sisters are together at the Alderson prison camp in West Virginia. The feds told Edmond they would not recommend a sentence reduction for him, but they agreed to go to bat for his 56-year-old mother, who was sentenced to 24 years in prison for her role in Rayful's drug enterprise.
That's my mom. I love her, so, I miss her. And, I hope she'll be okay.
At the time, a survey by the District of Columbia Attorney General showed that half of D.C. residents thought Edmond should be released. In 2021, Judge Emmett Sullivan granted the government's request for early release, although Edmond had a separate 30-year sentence for running his operation from prison.
So, according to the prosecutors, he was operating some 60% of the crack cocaine that was moving throughout the District of Columbia. That is a large amount of drugs coming into this small city, right? And he had, at the time of his arrest, one of the most profitable drug operations in the nation, right? So what that looked like here was, I was raised in Prince George's County. My maternal grandmother lived in Northeast D.C., 42nd and Benning Road, just a couple of blocks up from Minnesota Avenue and near the shrimp boat. And I remember growing up and feeling just a feeling of safety in that community, being able to play and do whatever there. And I also remember the change in 86, 87, 88, when the community just was different. Apartment complexes where working people lived became crack houses, and the feeling of the community shifted.
So it sounds maybe they did release him, huh?
They released him.
Because he did a gang of time.
They released him.
From the 80s to 2024.
I know gang of people, they do that. Well, right now, that's what they're doing to people right now, you know what I'm saying? They releasing people, especially especially when you understand the feds, the reason they don't have cameras and all that in the feds, because the feds whoop your feet. My cousin told me this, and multiple people told me this. The judge will tell you, bro, catch me on the back end. Because I'm gonna be, when you appeal, catch me in that, I'll see you in 10 years.
With information?
No, they not information.
Okay.
Just, I know you probably gonna get this overturned, but it'll take 10 years for this to happen. Catch me on the back end. Like they whoop you in the feds because that's why they put on cameras in here. They don't want nothing because if showing something can, you know what I'm saying, get the people that's talking. It's all word of mouth in the feds because they like, oh, you heard what happened to him? Like I'm like, oh no, man. I told everybody I know that's in the feds, but they told me, yeah, man, they whooped me in the court. They whooped me.
So maybe he did get out, but didn't get to enjoy it.
Facts.
5.5 months in the halfway house and then died.
Blew your heart. He probably was doing drugs or something too, though.
But damn, he provided information on 20 homicides.
He closed a lot of murders. He closed a lot of cases.
Those were all the homicides that maybe Wayne Perry was doing.
Edmond was sent to the federal pen in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. It was like sending him to grad school for drug dealers. Inside the prison, Edmond shared a cell with 2 men with Colombian connections. In 1996, Rayful Edmond was convicted again, this time for conducting his drug business from a prison phone. He got another 30 years for that, and sometimes afterwards he agreed to turn government witness. He became a snitch. In exchange, the government agreed to let his mother, Constance Booty Edmond, his sisters, and others out of prison.
Wayne Perry did a lot of homicides for Alpo. When Alpo moved from New York to D.C., Wayne Perry was out there doing his thing.
Yeah, and Wayne Perry got a gay reputation.
Oh, I didn't.
That's just what it is. Well known. It's out there. It's Chocolate City. It's sugar.
I thought Chocolate City because of the women in the strip club.
No, because of black people.
Yeah. Because I heard they got some good strip clubs out there.
They said because it's a blackness. It's like they saying the White House is the White House. You go around a corner and it's like nothing but blackness.
Man, I want to visit D.C., man, but I'm scared to trip and go to jail, bro. Yeah, I ain't about to go fed for.
You going to the Fed? No, but you don't go to D.C.
Hell no.
No,
Stay in Maryland.
They gentrified D.C.
I stay in Maryland, brother. I stay in Maryland. You know what I'm saying?
Scared, bro.